I'm all excited. I'm going to a class tonight with a psychic medium who went to the James von Praagh School of Psychic Mediumship, so gotta get started.
The end result, like...
Okay, I'm out right now. I didn't want to film while I was in there. I just took a quick little picture of it. But anyway, that was amazing. There were 10 of us in there, and I'm standing right outside. One of my college friends, basically somebody I dated in college, came through, and that was really, really cool. He had like a personal message for me. And anyway, everybody, like, you know, people's spouses were coming through and all kinds of really cool. Actually, I kind of feel weird talking about it out here on the street, but anyway, I will say more here in a sec. Like seashells right here. Look at this. Like piles of seashells. Oh, here's a pretty one. Oh my god, look at this one. It's like a big one. Like a giant pile of driftwood. I was gonna sit on this log for a second, but now it looks dirty. Hello, I'm back. It's actually the next day after that spirit circle that I went to last night with a medium that graduated from James von Praagh's mystical school of psychic mediums, basically. So it was so exciting. It was really, really fun, and it was about 10 of us, so it's a limited group so that each person had a chance to basically have a reading done. And it was raining last night, and it was in a crystal shop, so there's huge crystals around in the rain, so it was like kind of spooky. And I've actually never been to a spirit circle before. I've never done anything like that, although I've read James von Praagh's books before, and I saw him before at a gas station before, which is kind of funny. But anyway, so it was amazing. Like, all these spirits came through for each person, basically. Like, one lady, for example, had, you know, a husband who'd passed on. He came and, you know, he had some messages for her. And then it turns out she had 2 dead husbands. So, like, both of them came through, and the lady knew the name of the second spouse, Donald. So I found that pretty shocking. And then another lady too, like, her significant other came through, and her white cat, like or was a white dog or something like that, where her dead significant other was with her white cat. And I'm sorry, I'm sitting behind this big pile of that driftwood right now to try to get out of the sun because it's so bright. Anyway, I've been jogging. I'm a little out of breath. I just went like 3 miles down the road, and I'm sitting behind like that huge pile of driftwood right now. Anyway, so she asked why I was there, because basically, like, some friend kept coming through, like busting in and hogging up all the space, and she's like, well, there's a friend for you. And it was me first out of the other, you know, 10 participants. And I'm like, friend that's dead? Like, I don't have a friend that's dead. You know, I have like 4 grandparents that have passed on. I didn't really know the other 2, the paternal side, but on the maternal side, I knew my grandma really well. I lived with my maternal grandmother for a few years and was pretty close to her. So I thought, well, it'd be cool, you know, if she came through, but I didn't really have any pressing, you know, issue or anything. I just wanted to experience what it would be like and maybe learn something about it. So anyway, she's like, yeah, a friend. I'm like, a friend? Like, I'm like, well, I knew, you know, finally I was like, I don't really know. And then she said something like, well, look, he's really wanting a lot of attention. Like, he's in here, he's kind of like dominating the spirits. He wants, you know, he says he's your friend. And I was like, well, you know, there's this guy in college that I knew really well that died, and we, you know, we hung out, we were really, really close, like we were classmates basically, and we were assigned to the same little marketing group. So we had our little marketing project together, and we spent a lot of late nights studying and working on this assigned project, and we were partnered up in the class a lot for assignments. And then we started hanging out outside of class, and then we started dating. And so I was like, well, I mean, there's a guy I knew, but it's not like really a friend. Like we slept together. Would that be him? You know, I wouldn't call him a friend, so more like dating. And she's like, yeah, he's telling me friends with benefits. And I was like, what? Okay, I go, okay, I think I know who that is. And she's like, well, he just wants you to know that you should have been treated, you know, he should have treated you so much better, like you deserve so much better and this and that, but he really considers you a good friend. And I can't even really remember all. She said he's kind of like a narcissist, like he's type A, like very dominating of everything. He wants all this attention ahead of all the other spirits that are there. And she's like, and I was like, okay, well, maybe it's him. Like, I knew a guy in 8th grade I played basketball with a little bit, but not very well. And he died, but I'm like, I don't think it'd be him. I go, what does he do for a living? And she goes, well, you know, he's like a jock or athletic. And I was like, And I was thinking the guy I knew also surfed, but that wasn't his main occupation. And I go, well, the guy I knew was a musician. I don't know if it's him or not. And I go, did he give a name? Because the other spirits had given names, you know, to the lady's husband, Donald, and then some other guy showed up, I forget his name, and, you know, they were able to describe all kinds of specific little details about the other people's spirits to where they knew what they were. And some people had had like murder, there was like, I think a suicide, and, you know, a couple pets showed up, which I thought was cool. And so anyway, I was sitting there and I was like, well, it can't be him. I'm like, it can't be him. Like, why would he show up on my reading? And I go, well, what was his name? And so this other lady who was also evidently they said very spiritual and very connected, like, I don't know, kind of into mediumship, or she was like a spiritual writer, healer, I don't know, something like that. And the lady goes, what's his name? And she says the name just out of the clear blue sky, like, and it's a random name. It's not like John that everybody has. Like, he has a name that has a name and then it's in its proper form, basically. I was like, oh my God, that's it. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, the lady says the name. And I go, yeah. And so she started talking about him, and I was like, oh my gosh, because this guy I knew in college that I hung out with, like, he actually later became a super, super famous rock star, like legendary rock star. When K-Rock does its top 100 countdown, like, his song would be like number 1, number 2 on the top 100 famous rock star countdown list. And so, you know, I had felt really, really bad actually, because when I knew him, you know, he was moderate, like he finally had gotten a song up on the radio, and, you know, he was performing all around. I had been to his performances, like around campus and like around the city. And so, you know, he was moderate at the time, but his career just skyrocketed soon after. But he got like heavily into like drugs and kind of all this craziness basically, and I didn't really feel comfortable with that. And so he kept calling like, why won't you talk to me, why won't you talk to me? And I started kind of hiding and not really taking the calls. So I had always felt extremely bad about that. Like, I should have just, shit, if I would have known you know, where things were going, I wouldn't have worried about a few little substance issues, I guess, because he was such a great person and he was like so sweet, and I got along with him really, really well. And so anyway, I felt like I shouldn't say the name, because I don't know if that's right to name drop. That can be kind of, I don't know, tacky a little bit. But anyway, it made me feel so good that he showed up, because I guess I'd always felt guilty a little bit about that, and had just wished that I could have told him, because like, is it the drugs, is it the drugs? And I was like, And I didn't answer. I should have just said, yeah, you know, it's like things are getting a little like out of hand and I, you know, don't feel comfortable. And I just dropped out of the picture. Like I just poofed basically. So anyway, and so I had a chance to have a little interchange basically. And then she's like, well, he's saying high five. So I was like, high five. And then she's like, now he's saying like knuckles. And I was like, okay, knuckle bump. And so anyway, that's what it was, and it was super exciting. Like it was really interesting. Oops, ooh, I just dropped my sunglasses in the sand. Anyway, so I don't know if anyone's interested in hearing about that story or not, because another interest I had, you know, regarding going is when I was a little girl, I used to be able to see ghosts. Like I would particularly see one ghost. And it was this sailor in the corner, and she'd even said like an uncle showed up. So I later found out like a great uncle was a sailor. My paternal grandmother had mentioned like her brother, I think, was some kind of a sailor, and so I wonder if that was him, like a great uncle. But anyway, ever since those whole issues with the spirits when I was a little girl, I freaked out, and I still sleep with the light on to this day. I will not sleep in a dark bedroom because I'm always worried that I'm gonna see something. And you know, I've had footsteps around the bed at night. I've had something like touch my foot. And then for a while after I had went to this one like psychic or whatever, I was having all kinds of activity, like all those like little like smoky, shady things all in the apartment going darting around. And once this giant like clear figure next to me, I was like jogging in Hancock Park in LA, and it would just like walk next to me, and it's almost in a human form, but it was in a clear pixelation. I was like, you know, what the heck, like get away from me, like go away. Like if you can see things like that, it's freaky, like you don't really know what it is. And so anyway, there's a little more to the story, but I don't know if I want to put this on a video in public, but there's a little more interactions that did happen. But anyway, to this day, I sleep with the light on. I learned how to banish and protect the space and clear the energy. And you know, you clear your chakras and everything like that and create a higher vibration. Evidently, these little smoky things that come around, they're from lower vibrational frequencies and entities. So you have to learn to clear your aura, you know, any attachments, and you know, definitely clear your space. And so I was also recently watching a video. It's getting really cold, by the way. I'm like, my hands are like ice. I was watching a video by a Hindu guru, Paramahansa Nithyananda, and he had a show on ghosts. So of course I had to watch that on YouTube. And he was saying, you know, don't be frightened. The only thing about ghosts that is frightening is that you can see them, and if you see them, you're frightened. But he said they can't hurt you. They're in a different dimension. They're in the fourth dimension. We're in the third dimension. So they can't touch you. They can't hurt you. All they could do is appear, and then you're frightened. So he said it's not like a movie, a horror flick where they can like levitate you and throw you up against the wall, you know, like you see in the movies that scare you. And he was saying we are made out of 5 dimensions, or 5, I can't remember the word, aspects or something like that, of 5, you know, like our body, our emotions are this, are that, and the other. And they only have 3. So we are more powerful, we have more energy than they do. So there's nothing to be frightened of. So anyway, I just thought, because I have been a little afraid of ghosts my whole life, like from being able to see that ghost when I was a little girl, I just wanted to get over that fear so I can sleep with the light off. Like here I am, a grown woman, and I should be able to sleep in the dark and not be spooked. But anyway, I feel a lot better. That was really exciting. I'm glad I got to connect with that old friend from college, and it made me feel great that he showed up and said those things. It's almost like making amends from the beyond, an amends, and that always feels great. So anyway, I was hesitating to go ahead and share about this for a video, but I thought I might as well go ahead in case, you know, anyone's curious about ghosts. So that was fun. So anyway, I will talk to you guys soon. I have a lot more videos that are like half done that I will have completed here shortly, and so I will get those up. So anyway, thanks for watching, and you know, comment below. I'm curious if anyone else has seen ghosts or been to a medium or anything like that, and if you have, like, I'd be curious to read your stories below. Okay, thanks.